The bright lights of the press conference blinded Major Daniel Winters as he stood before the world's cameras. At 42, with short brown hair showing the first hints of gray, he had never wanted this kind of attention. But today, he was the face of humanity's greatest adventure. Major Winters, how does it feel to be selected as Earth's first diplomat to alien life? A reporter shouted from the crowd. Daniel cleared his throat. It feels like a big responsibility, he said simply. One I don't take lightly. 6 months earlier, the massive alien ship had appeared near Jupiter's orbit. The world had panicked at first, but the aliens, calling themselves the Galactic Council, sent messages of peace. They invited Earth to join their alliance of 27 alien species that ruled most of the Milky Way. Now Daniel, a military veteran who spoke 7 Earth languages, would lead the first human team to the Council's headquarters on a planet orbiting Proxima Centauri. His team was small but carefully chosen. Dr. Amanda Howard, a brilliant scientist who specialized in alien biology. Lieutenant Sofia Martinez, a tough security officer with sharp eyes that missed nothing. And Ryan Garcia, an expert in human culture and history. Are you afraid? Another reporter asked. Daniel smiled slightly. Only a fool wouldn't feel some fear, but curiosity is stronger. In the 3 weeks that followed, Daniel and his team trained every day. They studied the limited information the Council had shared about their customs and rules. They practiced using the translation devices the aliens had provided. They prepared for every possible situation they could imagine. The night before departure, Daniel stood alone on the roof of the NASA building, looking up at the stars. Soon he would be among them, representing all of humanity. Couldn't sleep either, Dr. Howard asked, joining him at the railing. Amanda was in her late 30s, with curly black hair usually tied back in a practical bun. Her mind was razor sharp, always working, always curious. Just thinking about what we're walking into, Daniel said. 27 alien species, Amanda, each with their own agendas, politics, beliefs, and technology beyond our dreams, she added. The medical advances alone could end disease on Earth forever. Daniel nodded. If they choose to share. You don't trust them. I want to, Daniel said. But they've been watching us for decades before making contact. Why now? What changed? The next morning, Earth watched as the sleek ship UES Horizon lifted from the Kennedy Space Center. Inside, Daniel and his team strapped into special chairs designed to protect them during the journey. The ship itself was mostly human-built, but its engine core used alien technology that would let them reach Proxima Centauri in just 12 days instead of the 4 years it would take with Earth's fastest ships. As Earth shrank behind them, Lieutenant Martinez checked her weapons for the 3rd time. The Council had allowed her to bring standard firearms for ceremonial purposes. You really think we'll need those? Ryan asked, watching her. Sophia's dark eyes met his. I hope not. But hope isn't a strategy. Ryan Garcia was the youngest at 29, with an easy smile and a gift for understanding cultural nuances. I've been studying their greeting rituals, he said, changing the subject. They're big on body positioning and hand gestures, very formal. For 12 days they traveled through the darkness of space, preparing and wondering what awaited them. The ship's AI taught them more about Council protocols each day. The humans learned that the Council had governed for over 40,000 years. They learned about the Council's 3-tier membership system. They practiced formal introductions in the main Council language. None of it prepared them for the real thing. When they finally arrived at Proxima Centauri, the sight took their breath away. The Council headquarters wasn't on the planet's surface. Instead, a massive structure orbited the world, a spinning wheel of light and metal larger than Manhattan, with ships of all shapes and sizes coming and going. My God, Amanda whispered as they approached. It's beautiful. Daniel nodded, but something in his stomach tightened. The structure wasn't just beautiful. It was overwhelming, intimidating, perhaps designed to be. As the Horizon docked at the station, Daniel straightened his uniform and nodded to his team. "Remember why we're here," he said. "We represent every human on Earth. Let's make them proud." The airlock doors slid open, revealing their first alien face-to-face. The future of humanity had begun. The alien that greeted them stood nearly 7 feet tall. Its body was covered in shimmering green scales, and a pair of yellow eyes studied the humans with what seemed like boredom. "I am Kelver of the Zaxxerian Confederation," the alien said through a translator device hanging from its neck. "I will be your guide during your stay at the Council headquarters." Daniel stepped forward. "Major Daniel Winters, representing Earth. We are honored to be here." Kelver made a gesture that might have been dismissive. "Follow me. Do not touch anything without permission." As they walked through vast hallways, the humans stared in wonder. Aliens of every shape and size moved about, some with multiple limbs, others floating rather than walking, some covered in fur, others in scales or hard shells. The Council headquarters houses over 10,000 diplomatic staff, Kelvor explained as they walked. Representatives from all 27 member species maintain offices here. "It's incredible," Amanda said, her scientific mind racing as she observed a group of blue-skinned aliens communicating through color changes on their skin. Kelver glanced at her. "This structure has existed for 12,000 years. Nothing humans have built has lasted even a fraction of that time." Ryan frowned at the unnecessary comparison. He'd been trained to notice cultural slights, and that definitely felt like one. Their quarters were small but comfortable enough. 4 private rooms connected to a common area. Large windows looked out at the stars and the red-tinged planet below. "Rest now," Kelver said. "Tomorrow you will attend an orientation session. Do not wander the station unescorted." With that, the alien left them alone. Lieutenant Martinez immediately swept the rooms for listening devices. "Clear," she said after a thorough check. "At least of any tech I recognize." Daniel nodded. "First impressions, everyone." "They're not very friendly," Ryan said. "That comment about our buildings not lasting. That was deliberate." Amanda was still excited despite Kelver's attitude. "The medical technology I saw just walking here, it's decades beyond ours. I saw an alien with what looked like a regrown limb." "Security is tight," Sophia added. "At least 6 different types of scanning devices in the hallways, and those guards weren't carrying ceremonial weapons." The next morning, Kelver led them to a large circular room. About 30 other aliens, all clearly new to the station like them, sat in tiered seating. "These are representatives from newly discovered species," Kelver explained. "All potential candidates for probationary status in the Council." "Probationary status?" Daniel asked. "Of course. Did you expect full membership immediately?" Kelver made a sound like a laugh. "Every species begins as a probationary member for at least 200 years. Daniel kept his face neutral despite his surprise. 200 years was longer than the United States had existed. The orientation began with videos showing the Council's history, how the 3 oldest species had formed it thousands of years ago to guide younger civilizations. The Eldar, the Zaxxerians, and the Morkai were presented as wise guardians who had brought peace to the galaxy. During a break, Daniel spoke with a furry alien named Greet from a planet called Nuveria. "How long has your species been probationary?" Daniel asked. 112 years, Greet answered. "We manage maintenance systems for the station and provide resources to full members. After 200 years, you become full members." Greet made a chittering sound. "No. After probation comes associate status. Full membership is rare for newer species." That evening, back in their quarters, the team compared notes. "It's a hierarchy," Ryan said, "and we're at the bottom." "Did you notice how the older members treat the probationary ones?" Sophia added. "Like servants." Daniel nodded, his concerns growing. "Something else. I counted only 5 species that seemed to have any real authority. The rest just follow along." "So what do we do?" Amanda asked. Daniel looked out at the stars. We were sent to get the best deal for humanity. I'm not accepting second-class status for Earth without a fight. Be careful, Sophia warned. I've seen how the guards look at species that speak out of turn. Tomorrow we meet with the council representatives, Daniel said. Let's see what they really want from us. None of them slept well that night, each wondering what Earth had really gotten itself into. 3 weeks passed, and Daniel's frustration grew daily. Every meeting ended the same way. The council representatives would listen politely to Earth's proposals, then explain why humans needed to mature before receiving any meaningful benefits. Another waste of time, Daniel said as they left yet another meeting. They want our resources but offer almost nothing in return. I've been talking to the other probationary species, Ryan added. The Nuvarians have provided rare minerals for a century and still don't have access to basic medical technology we were promised. Amanda looked troubled. I've been allowed limited access to their biological database. Daniel, they've had cures for cancer, Alzheimer's, and most genetic diseases for thousands of years. Daniel stopped walking. And they're keeping these from us. From all newer species, Amanda confirmed. They claim we're not ready. That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. He reviewed all his notes and found a pattern. The council took far more than it gave. He made a bold decision. The next morning, he sent a formal request for a full council assembly hearing, a rare privilege normally not granted to new species. To everyone's surprise, the request was approved. It's a chance to address all council members at once, Daniel told his team as they prepared. I'll present our case for fair treatment and full technology sharing. Sophia looked worried. This feels too easy. Why would they suddenly allow this? Perhaps they're testing us, Ryan suggested. Or they want to publicly put us in our place, Amanda added quietly. When the day arrived, the team entered the Grand Council chamber. The room was enormous, with seats arranged in 7 rising tiers. The lowest levels held probationary members, while the highest contained the 3 founding species. At the very top sat an elderly alien with pale blue skin and 4 arms, Arch-Consul Voreth of the Eldar. Daniel wore his full dress uniform as he stepped to the speaking platform. The chamber hushed. Honorable members of the Galactic Council, he began, his voice steady. I come before you with respect, but also with concerns that must be addressed. For the next 10 minutes, Daniel spoke about humanity's hopes for true partnership. Then he shifted to his main point. We have studied the Council's history carefully, he continued, and we've noticed something troubling. In the past 1,000 years, not a single new species has advanced beyond associate status. The technology gap between older and newer members grows wider, not narrower. Murmurs spread through the chamber as Daniel displayed charts on the room's holographic system. Furthermore, we've discovered that technologies promised to probationary members are routinely withheld long after the agreed timeframes. Arch-Consul Voreth leaned forward. You overstep, human. But Daniel continued, most concerning is this data showing that newer species' technological development actually slows after council contact, rather than accelerates. Enough. Voreth's voice boomed through the chamber. The elderly alien stood, his 4 hands making complex gestures. The human representative clearly lacks the maturity to address this assembly properly. Voreth's eyes narrowed. A cleansing ritual is required to purify these proceedings. Before Daniel could respond, 4 guards surrounded him. The council members began chanting in an ancient language. What's happening? Daniel asked, suddenly alarmed. No one answered. The guards held him firmly as another alien approached with a crystal bowl containing blue flames. This is the flame of truth, Voreth announced. All members undergo this ritual symbolically. It burns away falsehood and impurity. The alien lifted the bowl toward Daniel's face. Wait, Daniel tried to pull away. Our biology might not. The guards forced his hands into the blue flames. Daniel screamed as the fire touched his skin. This was no symbolic ritual for humans. The flames burned like acid. "Stop it!" Amanda shouted, rushing forward only to be blocked by more guards. Sophia reached for her weapon, but found herself surrounded. Ryan managed to activate his communication device, sending live images back to Earth. The flames spread up Daniel's arms as he collapsed to his knees. His screams echoed through the chamber as council members watched impassively. "The ritual continues until purification is complete," Voreth said coldly. By the time Amanda finally broke through to reach him, Daniel's eyes were blank with shock, his breathing shallow. "He's dying," she cried, cradling his burned body. "Help him." But no help came. In the cold silence of the council chamber, humanity's first diplomat took his final breath. The video of Daniel's death reached Earth within hours. People around the world watched in horror as blue flames consumed their diplomat, while alien faces showed no emotion. In homes, offices, and public squares, humans witnessed the final moments of Major Daniel Winters. President Katherine Rogers sat motionless in the White House Situation Room, her face pale as the screen went dark. Around the table, military leaders and government officials waited in stunned silence. "They murdered him," someone finally whispered. The president stood slowly. At 58, with silver-streaked hair and deep lines around her eyes, she had led the country through natural disasters and economic crisis. But nothing had prepared her for this. "Get me the other heads of state," she ordered. Immediately. Within 24 hours, the United Earth government held an emergency session. Representatives from every nation gathered in New York, putting aside old rivalries in the face of this new threat. Admiral William Black, commander of Earth's Space Forces, gave the military assessment. He was a tall man with dark skin and a completely shaved head, known for his calm approach to problems. Today, his voice shook with barely controlled anger. "Make no mistake," he told the assembly. This was not a cultural misunderstanding. The council knew exactly what those flames would do to human tissue. They meant to kill Major Winters. "Why?" asked the representative from India. "What would they gain?" "They sent us a message," Admiral Black replied. "They showed us our place in their hierarchy, beneath their boots." President Rogers took the podium next. "I have ordered all remaining human personnel to return from council space immediately. Our borders are now closed to all alien vessels." "And then what?" the Chinese representative asked. "We cannot match their technology." A small smile crossed the president's face. "That's what they believe." Later that day, in a secure underground facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, President Rogers met with Earth's top military and scientific leaders. The room was plain except for a large table and screens on every wall. "Activate Protocol Thermopylae," she ordered. Admiral Black nodded grimly. "We've been preparing for this possibility since first contact, Madam President. We never fully trusted their peaceful claims." On one screen, a map of the solar system appeared, showing hidden military bases throughout the asteroid belt. "The mining operations we told the council about were real," explained General Linda Ortiz, head of the Space Force. "But they were also cover for our shipyards. We have vessels nearly ready for deployment. Warships built with technology we kept hidden from the council surveys." "How many?" the president asked. 47 combat-ready ships, with another 32 nearly complete. Dr. Paul Nakamura, lead scientist of the Defense Advanced Projects Agency, spoke next. "We've also been developing weapons systems based on principles we observed from their technology." "Can we win a war against 27 alien species?" President Rogers asked bluntly. Admiral Black's expression was grim. "Not a conventional war. No, but humans have never been good at fighting conventionally. We've designed our strategy around rapid strikes, hit-and-run tactics, and targeting their key facilities." "They think we're primitive," General Ortiz added. "That gives us the element of surprise." The room fell silent as everyone considered what lay ahead. Millions would likely die. But the alternative, submission to a council that had casually murdered their diplomat, was unthinkable. President Rogers looked at each face around the table. "I need your unanimous support for what comes next." "You have it," Admiral Black said without hesitation. Others nodded in agreement. 2 days later, President Rogers addressed the world. Billions watched as she stood before a simple podium, the United Earth flag behind her. Major Daniel Winters went to the stars carrying humanity's hopes for peaceful cooperation, she said. He was murdered for questioning the Council's authority. Her voice hardened. "They believe us weak and primitive. They will discover how wrong they are." Throughout Earth and the lunar colonies, factories shifted to war production. In orbital shipyards, workers raced to complete warships. Across the solar system, hidden military bases activated. The Galactic Council had started this war. Humanity would end it. For 3 months after Daniel's death, the Galactic Council received no communication from Earth. The Council's leadership considered this silence a sign of human weakness. They hide in their primitive world, nursing their wounded pride. Arch-Consul Vorith told the Council members, "In time, they will beg to rejoin us on our terms." The Zaxxerian representative agreed. "Their technology is centuries behind ours. What else can they do but accept their place?" They would soon have their answer. On a normal day at the Proxima Centauri outpost, alarms suddenly blared throughout the massive station. Council security forces rushed to their stations, confused by readings on their sensors. 12 unidentified vessels have appeared in the system, a Morquet officer reported. They didn't use the warp gates. They just appeared. "Impossible," his commander said. "No species has jump drive technology except." The station shook violently as the first explosions hit its outer defenses. Aboard the UES Retribution, Admiral Carol Johnson watched the battle unfold on her command screen. At 45, she had risen quickly through the ranks of Earth's new space navy. Now she commanded humanity's first strike against the Galactic Council. "All ships, execute attack pattern Delta," she ordered calmly. "Focus fire on their defense systems first." The human ships moved with surprising speed, avoiding most of the Council's return fire. Their designs were unlike any vessels the Council had seen before, black, angular craft that barely showed up on sensors. "They can't track us properly," Carol's second-in-command noted with satisfaction. "Their targeting systems aren't designed for our stealth technology." On the main view screen, bright flashes marked successful hits against the Council's orbital defenses. The Council ships scrambled to respond, but they were caught completely by surprise. "Launch phase shift torpedoes," Carol ordered. From the belly of the Retribution, 6 glowing projectiles emerged. They passed straight through the Council's energy shields as if they didn't exist, then detonated against the station's main power core. The Council station's lights flickered as emergency systems activated. Inside, aliens ran in panic as sections lost air or gravity failed. "How is this possible?" Kelver demanded as he stumbled into the Council's emergency bunker. "Humans don't have this level of technology." "They lie to us," another Council member replied. "They hid their true capabilities." On the Retribution, Admiral Johnson received the battle reports with grim satisfaction. "Target their communication array next," she ordered. "Then prepare for Phase 2. The human ships continued their attack for 20 more minutes, systematically destroying the station's defenses, shipyards, and weapon systems. They carefully avoided the residential sections where civilians lived. "Admiral," her communications officer called out, "Council ships are arriving from nearby systems." Carol nodded. "Right on schedule. All ships, prepare to jump." The Council reinforcements arrived just in time to see the human vessels fade from normal space, using technology the Council had banned thousands of years ago because of its military potential. Before vanishing, the human fleet broadcast a single message to the damaged Council station: "Justice for Daniel Winters. This is only the beginning." The Council leaders gathered in emergency session hours later. Their perfect order had been shattered, their sense of superiority badly shaken. How did they develop jump drive technology? One Council member asked. Our surveys showed no sign of it. They must have been preparing for war since before first contact, another suggested. Arch-Consul Voreth's face had lost its usual confidence. Mobilize the combined fleet, he ordered. Every combat vessel from all 27 species. We will crush this human rebellion quickly. And aide rushed into the chamber with fresh news. Arch-Consul, we've just lost contact with the Rigel outpost and the Ta Siti mining colony. Reports indicate human ships at both locations. The room fell silent as the implications became clear. Without using the Council's warp gate network, the humans could strike anywhere, anytime. They're hitting multiple targets, the military commander said in disbelief. But that would require dozens more ships than we thought they had. Voreth's four hands trembled slightly. The humans weren't just fighting back. They were winning. 6 months into the war, the Galactic Council finally assembled its combined fleet. Over 3,000 warships gathered near the Sirius system, the largest military force seen in the galaxy for millennia. With these ships, we will crush the human rebellion once and for all, Grand Admiral Zex of the Morcati announced to his officers. His gray tentacles waved confidently as he studied the fleet formation. The humans have perhaps 100 vessels. We have 30 times that number. His confidence was shared throughout the Council. Despite the shocking first strike, most Council species believed their superior numbers would quickly end the human threat. They were wrong. Fleet Admiral John Peterson watched the Council's massive fleet from his command ship, the UES Defiance. At 50, with a thick beard and steady hands, Peterson had spent decades in Earth's old navies before taking command of humanity's space forces. They gathered exactly where we predicted, he said to his command staff. Begin Operation Hydra. Across 24 star systems, human jump ships suddenly appeared. Instead of attacking the combined fleet directly, they struck the Council's supply bases, repair facilities, and fuel depots. Sir, we're receiving reports of simultaneous attacks on 26 Council installations, Peterson's intelligence officer reported. Peterson nodded. Now they have a fleet with nowhere to go and no way to maintain it. The Council's massive fleet, designed for a direct confrontation, suddenly found itself stranded without support. As they scrambled to respond, the humans struck again, this time at the fleet itself. 80 human ships jumped directly into the middle of the Council formation, but instead of firing weapons, they released thousands of small objects. What are these? A Council commander asked as the objects attached to Council ships. The answer came moments later as the devices activated, sending powerful energy pulses through the Council vessels. Ships lost power, weapons went offline, and communication systems failed. They're using electromagnetic pulse technology, Grand Admiral Zex realized too late. But our shields should have stopped them. On the UES Defiance, Peterson watched the Council fleet fall into confusion. Their ships are designed to stop energy weapons and projectiles, he explained to a young officer. They never considered something as simple as an EMP that could pass through their shields. The human attack was over in minutes. The ships jumped away before the Council could effectively respond, leaving behind hundreds of disabled vessels. On Earth, cities had moved underground or under massive protective domes. Factories operated around the clock, producing weapons and ships. Children trained on simulators that might one day help them fight real alien vessels. In a military hospital in Denver, Captain Sofia Martinez woke from surgery. She had been rescued along with Dr. Amanda Howard and Ryan Garcia 3 months earlier in a daring raid on a Council prison. Her left arm was now a mechanical replacement. The old one couldn't be saved after Council torture. How soon can I return to duty? She asked the doctor examining her. At least 3 more weeks, he replied. Make it 2, Sofia said, her eyes hard. I need to get back out there. On her bedside table sat a photo of Daniel Winters. She looked at it every day to remember why she fought. Across the galaxy, cracks began to appear in the Council's unity. The Nelvari, An older but less influential species secretly reached out to human commanders. "We have suffered under the three ruling species for too long," their representative told Admiral Peterson in a hidden meeting. "We can provide you with Council defense codes and patrol routes." Similar messages came from other species who had endured centuries of second-class status. The Council, facing defeats on multiple fronts, turned increasingly brutal. They bombarded human outposts in neutral territories and tested biological weapons designed to target human DNA. "If we cannot defeat them conventionally, we will make them extinct," Arch-Consul Voreth declared in a private council session. What the council leaders didn't understand was that every new atrocity only strengthened human resolve. Military volunteers tripled after news of council biological weapons spread. New ship designs rolled out of Earth's factories weekly, each incorporating lessons learned from previous battles. 2 years into the war, Admiral Peterson addressed his commanders before a major offensive. "They started this war believing we were weak," he told them. "Now they know better. Today, we bring the fight to their doorstep." 3 years after Daniel Winters died in blue flames, a massive human fleet gathered at the edge of the Proxima Centauri system. 200 warships, the largest force humanity had ever assembled, prepared for the final battle. Admiral William Black, now Supreme Commander of Human Forces, stood on the bridge of the flagship UES Vengeance. At 62, his face showed the strain of 3 years of constant war. "All ships report ready, sir," his executive officer said. Black nodded. On a nearby screen, he studied the council headquarters, the same station where Daniel had been killed. It was now heavily fortified with energy shields and thousands of weapons. "Begin the operation," he ordered. Before the fleet could move, a message arrived from Earth. A small council ship had entered the solar system under a flag of truce, carrying representatives seeking peace talks. "They're finally ready to negotiate," President Rogers told Admiral Black over a secure channel. "They're offering terms." "What kind of terms?" Black asked, suspicious. "They'll recognize Earth as a special autonomous zone. We would have limited self-governance under their oversight." Black's face hardened. "After everything they've done, after all the people we've lost, that's not peace, it's surrender." "I agree," the president said. "I've already rejected their offer. Proceed with the operation." The human fleet jumped into position around Proxima Centauri. But this time, the council was ready. Hundreds of defense platforms and ships opened fire immediately. "They've reinforced their defenses," Captain Sofia Martinez reported from her ship, the UES Valiant, her mechanical arm-controlled weapon systems faster than a human hand could. "Deploy the Cronus device," Admiral Black ordered. From the center of the human fleet, a small ship moved forward. It carried humanity's most advanced weapon, a device that could temporarily disrupt the flow of space-time itself. As the device activated, a strange bubble expanded outward. Inside the bubble, time slowed to a crawl. Council ships caught in the effect appeared frozen, their weapons firing in slow motion. "All ships, advance through the bubble," Black commanded. The human fleet moved through the distortion, bypassing the Council's main defenses. By the time the effect faded, human ships were already attacking the station's core. Inside the Council headquarters, panic spread. Arch-Consul Voreth hurried to a hidden chamber deep within the station. "The humans have broken through," his aide reported. "They'll reach the central ring within hours." Voreth's face showed no emotion. "Activate the Omega Protocol." "But Arch-Consul, that will destroy the entire system, including our own people." "Better destruction than defeat by primitives," Voreth replied coldly. As the battle raged around the station, Captain Martins led a boarding team onto the Council headquarters. Her years of fighting had made her one of humanity's most decorated officers. "We need to reach the central control room," she told her team as they fought through corridors. "Intelligence says Voreth is activating ancient weapons that could destroy the whole system." After fierce fighting, Sophia's team reached the hidden chamber just as Vorith was completing the activation sequence. "Stop," she ordered, weapon raised. Vorith turned slowly. "Captain Martinez, the tortured prisoner returns." "Step away from the controls," Sophia demanded. "You're too late," Vorith said. "In minutes, this entire system will be erased from existence. Your victory will mean nothing." Sophia fired her weapon, hitting Vorith's shoulder. As he fell, her team rushed to the controls. "Can we stop it?" she asked her technical officer. "Yes, but I need time." "You have 3 minutes," she said, keeping her weapon trained on Vorith. The wounded archconsul looked up at her with confusion. "Why do you humans fight so hard? You could have accepted your place in our order." Sophia's eyes were cold. "Because we would rather die free than live as slaves. Something you could never understand." Her team disabled the weapons with seconds to spare. 3 days later, with the council leadership captured or scattered, the remaining council species surrendered. Earth dictated the peace terms. The old hierarchy would be dissolved, and all species would have equal representation. 1 year later, Dr. Amanda Howard represented Earth at the first meeting of the new Galactic Assembly. At the center of their new headquarters stood a statue of Daniel Winters, arms outstretched in a gesture of peace. Amanda touched the statue's base, where an inscription read, "He came offering friendship and gave his life for truth. His death brought justice. His memory brings peace." The galaxy had learned a costly lesson. Humans extend the hand of friendship willingly, but when that hand is burned, the fire that follows will consume worlds.